For placements, only customer support related profiles companies were coming to our college. So I joined TCS with an initial CTC offer that was 1,96,000. Cracked those 5-6 rounds of product based company. That is where I got to understand okay, how important is DSA. So at that sort of time, we were not even dreaming about it. We will be able to get a chance to interview at Razorpay. With this way, I got some project ideas. Okay, these are the real-time projects right now happening in the industry. The base part, if I talk about, between 28 lakhs to 45 lakhs.
So we all have that kind of perception that folks who are coming from the BSc, BCA kind of background, they cannot get the high-paying job in the IT industry. And why we have that kind of perception? Because companies are mentioning these things in their job descriptions, like they want candidates to have a BTech, MTech type of degrees. And honestly speaking, this is not the reality. And I literally wanted to motivate all such folks who are coming from these type of background. First of all, I am also having the same background like BSc, MCA, then getting into IT industry. And in this podcast, you will feel inspired and you will feel motivated because our guest speaker also had rigorous, challenging journey. He did BCA in graduation and from there he got placed in TCS with just 1.5 lakhs per annum package. But after that, the way he learned the things, he acquired the right skill set, and just because of that hard work and efforts, he has successfully transitioned into the data engineering domain and cracked so many amazing product based companies with high paying salary. So this podcast is definitely going to be an eye opener for you all, and you will learn a lot from his experience, that how he actually did it. So watch it till the very end, and after this podcast you will realize that skills definitely greater than that degree. And in the beginning you would have heard from our guest speaker that the importance of DSA and programming in order to get into the good product based companies for the data engineer role. And that is why, to help all the aspiring data professionals, doesn't matter what background you had, doesn't matter you are coming from a coding background or you are coming from a non-coding, non-tech, these type of job backgrounds, we are actually going to start our live classroom bootcamp for Python for DSA and data libraries. And this bootcamp is starting on 12th of August. So only limited seats are left. So if you also want to become pro in Python and you want to learn Python practically by working on good projects, and you want to improve your programming skills specifically for the Python so that you can land into the data jobs, then this is the bootcamp for you. I have provided the enrollment link in the description. Again, this bootcamp is starting on 12th of August. So hurry up, enroll right now. Still, I have opened the window for amazing exclusive discount offer. You can use the discount code launch55 to get amazing 55% discount. So hurry up and enroll right now. All right. So thank you so much, Shivam, for joining me in this podcast, and really excited to have this conversation with you. But it would be really great if you can give a short introduction to our audience and anything you want to talk about your past academic background or current professional background as well.
Hey everyone, I'm Shivam. I'm based out of Lucknow, and I have done BCA as my graduation from Lucknow itself. And I'm right now working as a data engineer in BSimple. It's a BNPL organization. And prior to this, I was working for Razorpay as a data platform engineer. And before that, I started my career with TCS.
We both belong to Lucknow, and like I graduated from Lucknow University and he graduated from National PG, like just 2-3 kilometers apart. How was your like life after the college? Because at least in Lucknow, you can agree, I can agree. How was the educational environment? At least I remember back in 2011 to 2014. So how was your life after college? How and where did you get your first job? What was your first salary?
So basically, I graduated in 2018. So in that time, it was very hard for a BCA graduate to even get a job after the college. So in my case, how did this happen is basically for placements, only customer support related profiles companies were coming to our college. So that was entirely not an option for me to go. And at that sort of moment, TCS used to hire using graduate training program. So I entered into TCS using that graduate training program. They just take online tests and couple of interviews. So that was my way to go, and yeah, that is pretty much it. So there I basically started my first project as an automation engineer. But that was something I was at that sort of time. There were two words we as an engineer used to know. One is development, one is testing. But in my case, I was very fascinated about okay, development is something where you actually build things. But there in TCS itself, I met with colleagues who were actually working on big data related projects. That is where I got a overall understanding, or let's say overall basic beginner level understanding about big data. Ki, okay, this is some new tech stack which is getting really popular right now. So that was my first level of introduction to big data.
And how was the paycheck? I mean, we all know the realities, how much you get as
Yeah.
a starting package, but I just want to know whether it was less than the average compensation they gave, or it was
So
some extra on top of it.
correct. So I joined TCS with an initial CTC offer that was 1,96,000.
Wow, 1,90,000.
96,000.
96. And usually I heard from people that they were getting somewhere 330. My God.
3.36.
So you
3.36.
can imagine like 1.9 lakhs per annum. So hardly you divide maybe just 13,000-14,000 per month.
Right. It was, if we are talking about the exact number, it was 12,800.
Wow, man. Wow. So Shivam, as you mentioned in the TCS itself, somehow you got that beginner level understanding.
Yeah.
So, like, how did you start with core data engineering then? And what was the main motivation behind it? Because, as you said, right, we were only knowing two, three things: testing, development,
Correct.
and when you were in TCS, you got to know about big data. So, making up your mind is also something which is important to convince ourselves that whether this is profile I will be enjoying, what is the scope, and how did you learn that thing in TCS itself? So, how was it?
So basically, in TCS, the floor on which we used to sit, there itself, the big data team used to sit. So at that point of time, it will sound a little bit of kiddish, but the primary motivation was we were working on a desktop system. They were working on MacBooks. That was one primary source of attraction. Second thing, when it comes to on-sites, so basically, big data people used to go very frequently. So these two were the primary source of motivations at that sort of time when I did not had any background knowledge about the data engineering. So I got in touch with people and I got in touch with the person who used to manage the team. I requested them, ki, okay, I want to work into this. I'm willing to give all my time into this and I'm going to try my best. I'm going to learn things. I just need a chance for me to get enter into this field. And I'm already prepared with some bookkeeping related tasks. That is something which I did as a homework before proposing myself to the data engineering manager at TCS. So I learned very basic things around MapReduce and Hadoop and Hive, and that is where I went forward and gave my interview. So my interview at that sort of time for that project went like 60-40. But after that interview, the manager itself asked me, ki, your interview somehow went 60-40, but even he was surprised, see, how did you manage to do it? Because I could see that you were coming from ITI's background. So I told him, ki, I prepared all this on my own and I'm willing to learn even more further. I just need a one-time chance. So he, at that sort of time, after thinking for a day or two, he gave me 3 months entry for that project as a big data developer. That is where I got started with big data. And that is where my initial level of hands-on experience came out of.
So while moving from TCS, like how did you get opportunities from a really good product-based companies like Razorpay, Simple? How did you improve your tech stack so that you could grab these amazing opportunities? Because we all know the standard of the interviews of the product-based companies, their expectation from the candidate. So just share all those things so our audience can also prepare in that way.
Right. So at that sort of time, it was around COVID. So in COVID, we all came to our homes and we were pretty comfortable in our lives. We had pretty much time to do whatever we want other than our work. So at that sort of time, we in my friend circle, there was a guy who was from IIT, who was an actual graduate. he got placed into 𝗗𝗂𝗶𝗶. We met him. He told me about okay, these are the facilities we provide, and the work culture is very nice, this and that. So at that sort of time, we were not even dreaming about it. We will be able to get a chance to interview at 𝗗𝗂𝗶𝗶. And so how I got started it, basically during the time of COVID, I started learning about okay. Now it's been around 2 years. Let's start look to move forward to some other organization or some other quality of work. So I had one major blocker as I don't have a very solid project experience, project hands-on working experience, because everybody knows that working at a large-scale organization, you are part of a very small task which a variety of people are doing. So it was majorly around SQL. So for me, that was a very major blocker, I would say. So how I move forward with that is basically I started reaching out to people on LinkedIn who are actually doing this sort of work in the industry related to data engineering, and that is where I started collecting notes. Okay, uh, out of 100 DMs which I used to send, I used to get response from 4 to 5 people, and luckily out of them 4 to 5 people, I used to get some information. Okay, what exactly type of project you guys are dealing with in your day-to-day life, and this is my aspiration. I also want to do something similar, and this will help me to prepare myself. Okay, what exactly I have to brush up on, and with this way, I got some project ideas. Okay, these are the real-time projects right now being happening in the industry, and based on that, I started preparing my resume, because I knew before that I was applying blindly with whatever the resume I had, and I did not got any calls other than Capgemini and these sort of companies. So with this LinkedIn approach, I started curating my resume with some keywords related to the tech stacks being used, and I researched about okay, how the shortlisting happens and basically what they usually look for before shortlisting a candidate's resume to go forward with. So I started keeping that specific tech stack words in my resume and started highlighting the overall some notes taken from the some notes taken from the LinkedIn DMs itself, and some from the internet itself. And based on that, I started showcasing some dummy projects which I used to work on my free time on my local machine itself. For example, it can be like you set up a local Spark list on your machine and start to do some batch related pipelines, so email processing pipeline, and that sort of project I started keeping on in my GitHub profile, and as well as on my resume as well. So luckily, with this way, down the line 3-4 months, I was able to get calls from some good companies, some product based companies. But after that, now once the shortlisting part was done, now it was the challenge of key. You have experience on working in TCS, but now you have to think about how you're gonna crack those 5-6 rounds of a product based company. That is where I got to understand okay, how important is DSA. And parallelly, at that sort of time, I started drilling my DSA skills as well. And other than that, I started drilling my SQL skills as well. And along with that, at that sort of time, when you are 2 years or 2.5 years of experience, some level of system design skills are also required. So these things I started preparing, and that is where when I reached out to my 𝗗𝗂𝗶𝗶 friend and I asked him for a referral, and he referred me at 𝗗𝗂𝗶𝗶, and luckily I got a call from their recruiter that okay, your profile is shortlisted, and that is why my journey with 𝗗𝗂𝗶𝗶 started. So if I talk about the interview experience, it was around I think 6 rounds of interview, comprising of there were I think couple of DSA rounds and system design rounds, and one was entirely a big data machine coding round that was around for 3 hours.
One follow-up question, Shivam, from my side, and I guess you raised a very, very valid point that if, let's say, I worked in some organization for 2-3 years and I did not have like a good industry level type of project experience, and if I start working on dummy projects, like is it recommended or is it a good idea to put those dummy projects in the resume will they create some value in the interviews, or it's just a wrong way to do it?
It will, do not over describe it on your resume. In short, you can just put up your GitHub profile link that this is a GitHub project, and at last of your resume, you can basically keep a section of the personal projects related to big data you have been working on.
Okay.
Do not over describe it,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
over description part should only be coming from your industry level experience.
What kind of challenges did you face while making this company switch from TCS or the service based companies to the product based companies? Did you face these similar ones or some other extra challenges as well?
Related to notice period, I struggled with some companies, but with Razor Pay, I got lucky that at that sort of time they were willing to give me a chance, because there also I expressed them ki, okay, I have this spark in me. I want to learn things, and I'm willing to give my best, whatever it takes. And when it comes to notice period, they also requested me cut it down till you can at max. This is not something which can be a deal breaker, but cut it down till the max. That is where I requested my current manager and TCS as well. Ki, okay, this is a situation. This is a life changing opportunity for me, and if I don't get it, this is actually a life changing and career transformation related opportunity. So at that sort of time, even after multiple calls, I had a lot of meetings with my Bangalore head as well. I mean, at that sort of time, this specific topic was stretched a lot. I got my notice period confirmation. I got my release confirmation on my last day of notice period. So I was successfully able to buy it out in 60 days. So in fact, till 15th days also they were denying me, ki, okay, they'll not approve my buyout request. And but luckily at last they did, because my manager, my direct reporting manager, was very supportive to me. And yeah, that is where things worked out for me.
As per the market standard, the level of interviews for data engineering roles, then what kind of skill set an aspiring data engineer should acquire, and how they can improve their portfolio?
So according to me, looking at the right now market situation, I think one programming language to deal with your data pipelines, and other than that, the second major portion we have is SQL. SQL has to be very much grilled upon. It shouldn't be like you are only focusing on joins and subqueries. You have to
The
do
advanced
very
level.
much work around window functions as well, because ultimately on the second level of or high level of SQL questions, they are the way to go. And other than that, right now in this situation or at this time of market, people are very much focusing on what is the projects you have dealt on, and that should not be only around writing Spark jobs or writing batch jobs, because now the things have become much advanced. Now you have much more challenges. Now, as a data engineer, people are expecting you to handle scale as well. Now it's not only around you have given a file, now you just have to process and give some outcome to it. Now we have to be entirely aware about okay, as a data engineer, you have written a pipeline, will it scale? Right now it's working for 1,000 records, will it scale for 1 billion records as well? So on that side also we have to grill down right now to be relevant in the market right now, to be demanding in the market right now. And other than that, one more thing I'm gonna suggest is having uh, having familiarity with popular big data projects, big data open source projects. Now it's not only about knowing one thing to do, or it's not only about you know how to solve problem. Now it's about you know how to solve a problem in the best way possible, in the most cost effective way possible, because there are multiple solutions available for solving one question. Now you have to keep on researching about okay, what are the current open source projects which are being used, what are the things like some popular open source project you can study upon is either you can study about Trino, either you can study about Presto, and you can study about Apache Pino as well, Druid as well. So these are some of the open source projects that people expect us to be familiar with, because these are always good to have, because these are the things which will actually level you up from the other applicants. Because knowing only the Spark coding was something good in 2020 or 2019, but now it's not enough for getting a good job in product based company.
Yeah, absolutely. I truly agree on those parts, and I guess this is a very good insight. You should start looking into it. Do not just keep yourself till the Sparks part or the SQL part. Now industry and companies are expecting more from a data engineer, so you also need to prepare in that way. Like, how much salary is being offered by product based companies for DE roles, for entry level freshers roles, and mid senior level roles as well? Because you have seen both of these stages, the entry level part and the mid senior. So what average they should expect at this moment?
For entry level fresher, if I talk about at a product based company in India, so that should be easily doable. On the base part, if I have to talk about, that should be easily doable around 16 lakhs to 20 lakhs at right now in the market. And above than that, the regular things, you can have your bonus, you can have your stocks. But I think base is something which everywhere, which a lot of people are mostly focusing on. And if I talk about the mid-level fresher load or mid-senior level experience, so for those profiles, right now you can expect somewhere around between, on the base part, if I talk about, between 28 lakhs to 45 lakhs. On the base part, you can expect. And on top of that, you can have your either 20-25 lakhs of stocks and 5-6 lakhs of your bonus.
All right. So I have just one last question, Shivam, to end this podcast. Maybe as per your collective experience, if you want to summarize the interview process in the good product based companies, like at minimum, how many rounds they can expect, and how this round goes on, like what they can expect in the first one, second one, and whatever it is. So if you can just summarize all that experience, it would be also beneficial for the audience.
Yeah, sure. So if I have to summarize the rounds, so right now at the current market standards, for a D role and a general purpose or a standard section, first round is there for your general problem solving skills checking, and that is your DSA round. You can expect not very hard lead code questions, but medium level lead code questions. You can target some data structures as arrays, strings, and binary tree, and some not very complex side you have to go. You just have to be around array, string, linkings, and that should be more than enough. And in the second round, there is a machine coding round that is entirely on your Spark coding side. It can be, if you are a Python engineer, it can be around pandas as well. But that is your machine coding round. You'll be given a sample use case. Okay, you have to process this data. And on the third round, if I have to talk about, that can be either your data modeling round. Some companies do it, some companies don't do it. So the third round can be your data modeling round. They can give you a use case. Okay, these sort of streams are flowing into your system. Now you want to generate some reports out of it. And based on the interval, what sort of queries you want to run. So this sort of data modeling questions you can expect. And after that, some companies take up some system design related rounds as well. That is specifically only taken when you are getting interviewed for a data platform engineer related roles. And if you are applying only for data engineer, that round can be skipped, that system design round. And after that, you have your regular cultural fit rounds where they'll ask you some what were the more challenging situations you have faced, and your team spirit working.
Thank you so much, Shivam, for explaining all these things, and it is definitely very informative from the beginning till the end. Whatever you explained, whatever experience you have shared, this is going to be a very, very value adding whosoever is watching this podcast and aspire to be a good data engineer in good product based companies. And I hope you all have taken the key notes from this podcast. So once again, a big thanks from my side and from the entire audience side, Shivam, that you were able to spare this valuable time with us and sharing your wonderful experience with all of us. So thank you so much. So that is what I had in this amazing podcast. I'm pretty sure you would have enjoyed this extraordinary journey of Shivam, like coming from the BCA background to cracking the data engineering role in top product based companies. If yes, then give a thumbs up, like this video in the big numbers. If you want to share something, then feel free to put it in the comment section. And if you're new to the channel, then make sure to hit the subscribe button as well and press the notification icon. I will see you all really soon with another amazing podcast. Till then, you can keep exploring data, and also don't forget to enroll in the Python Bootcamp. Link is in that description.